Question of the day: what game would you like to see? A game set in the same universe of, but in an abstract way. Like, for instance, today, obviously, we're talking about Architects of the West Kingdom, which is in the same universe, as it were, of Raiders of the North Sea. Name sounds similar, art looks similar, right? But are they anything alike? Do they have anything to do with each other? Well, not really, other than the fact they're in the same family, right? They clearly exist in the same historical context somewhere. But what game would you like to see get a somewhat of a spin-off of? Today, though, we're looking at Architects of the West Kingdom. It is a worker placement game with a few unique twists. Let's see how it plays right now, what you do, what makes it an Architects of the West Kingdom experience, and then come back up and talk about what we think about that. And we'll even do a little comparison to Raiders of the North Sea, whether that's fair or not, right now. So here's the setup for Architects of the West Kingdom. You shuffle all the apprentice cards, you put them out here. You get all your building cards, you shuffle them out here. The stack goes here for the apprentice cards. All of the building cards go here face down. You then place all the black market cards with the smaller wagon side up. Notice there's a bigger wagon on the back. These are just what the black market gives you. Currently, it will give you this bonus, the bigger market, until this one, when it's used, flips over here and changes that bonus. You lay out a couple coins for the tax stand, and then you put the bonus cards here based on the amount of players. And there are debt cards up there, which are minus victory points. If you pay them off, it's kind of a good thing. Obviously, at the end of the game, you gain a valor or virtue, and we'll talk about what virtue does in just a minute. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 types of resources. You've got your stone, your brick, your marble, or nicer stone. I can't remember what the name of it is. Maybe it's granite, gold, and wood, and then there's obviously money. All the players start with different tokens like this. Will look very similar to Raiders of the North Sea on these different tracks. It'll tell you where to start typically here on these tracks over here. There's a little star there. And then you'll have one more star, or one more of these tokens. It will manage where you are on the cathedral track, if you are on the cathedral track at all. You have a ton of meeples in your color. Notice that there are a bunch of meeples, and there really isn't many ways to get them off the board. Everybody gets a player board. The colors full side is the same for everyone. That's the side that is not different, whereas the back is different for everyone. Individual player powers and certain power-ups, etc. The front is what we're going to be looking at right now. There's a place to hold captured other players' meeples, which is not as bad as it sounds. There are the in-game scoring conditions are down here. What gives you points is down here at the bottom. Because the important thing is, it is a worker placement game with some neat concepts involved in it. Let's take a look at what the spaces are on the board first, and then we'll kind of move from there. So let's start in basic ones here. There are these ones in the middle here. So the silversmith, it gives you a coin plus a coin per worker. Now what that means is, unlike most worker placement games where you're going to put a bunch out and then you're going to pull back, well, the difference is, notice these circles that have not full circles. As many people as you want can go there, including other people. Now what happens is, this is currently, for me, it's worth 1 coin plus 1 coin per worker, so it's worth 2 coins. Now on my later turns, if I started going here again and then I placed this one, it would be 3 coins plus 1 coin per, or 1 coin plus 1 coin per worker, so that would be 4 coins. If I went there again on another turn, that would be 5 coins. So the more you have on a space, the better it is. So wood is, for instance, is a wood per worker. Same with the quarry. Down here at the town center, this one's a little bit weird, it's a little bit wonky, but what happens here is you get to pay a tax. Any kind of money symbol that's in red goes to the tax stand, and when you go to the tax stand, you can lose 2 virtue to take all the money there, so it's a way to get money. But the town center here, it allows you to round up all of one player color from a space on the board. Now obviously it will hurt that player in the sense that they won't have as many there. So if they're at the mines, normally it would be a brick plus a brick per worker, or a gold per 2 workers. Well, now they have none there. Those go onto your sheet here. You then can sell them, and you get you get up here in this action, you can sell them to the guardhouse, and you can get a coin per worker that you put there. It's a pretty neat thing. You can free them typically one of 2 ways. So if somebody's got your workers on their board, you can free them like this, or once they're here, you can free them as a single action for free. And if you do it for here, it costs you 2 tax dollars and 3 regular dollars. So it's $5, or you can discard, you can take a debt card, and lose a valor to free them from someone's board. And the reason you want to do that is because you're stopping them from getting the money for sending them up there. So there's just some strategy involved in that. Those would be the actions here that you can do in the guardhouse. Now, down here at the workshop, you can pay 4 coins, 2 to the taxes and 2 regular, to gain an apprentice card. Now, there are some caveats with these apprentice cards. You notice that you can only go as far as you have workers here. So if you have 1 worker here, you can get someone from here, or you can pay a coin to scoot your number over. So if you really want this one, you could pay with 1 worker, you could place a coin here and then get that one as well. The other thing would be down here, you can gain a building card, and then it's a building card per 2 workers you have there. Building cards are things like this where you're trying to build them for points. Basically, some of them have in-game bonuses, some of them have kind of instant bonuses, but they have requirements up here in the top left. This one takes 2 wood, a gold, and a granite. Plus, you have to have a worker with that symbol. So if we look out here on the board, we see that the Swindler has that symbol in the top left. So you would have to have that as a requirement to build this building. Once you build a building, you do that by going here. You'll place a worker out here on the guild hall face down. These never come back. You either build a building, which is what we just talked about, or you move up the cathedral track, which means you pay the resources or the building card. So it's a 1 gold and discard a building card. You'll put your worker on the board. Now, these spaces are not a track where you go 1, 2, 3. This is this level, then this level, then this level, then this level, then this level. 3 people can be here, 2 people can be there, only 1 person can be at the top. But still, you might get boxed out or box someone else out until you move. So there might be 2 different players here. Well, as soon as someone moves up here, this space is now free and someone can move from here to here. So based on timing, it could potentially stop you from getting a lot of points. Now, those are worth a good bit of points at the end of the game. Once this track is full, the game ends. We do some final scoring, which again is based here at the bottom of your player board. One last area to talk about would be down here at the King's Store, 2 more actions I should say. The King's Storehouse, and then you would also get the bonus here based on what it is. King's Storehouse, this allows you to trade a stone, a wood, or a brick up to 2 times per worker to gain virtue. Now, the virtue is this track over here. It's a lot like kind of the Valkyrie track. Just the higher you are, you get victory points. The lower you are, you lose victory points, but you also get certain benefits, like you can ignore tax payments and things like that. So just know that there's benefits and negatives for going up on the virtue track and going down on the virtue track. One of the negatives of going down is you can no longer build a cathedral. One of the positives, or one of the negatives of going up, is you can't use the black market anymore. The black market is an area down here where 1 person can go to each one of these spots, and once they're there, once all 3 are there, certain things will trigger this to reset this, and basically you'll just pull these off. You'll flip this over if there's not one there. But these are actions like pay a coin and lose a valor to take this. This one is pay 2 coins and lose a valor to get either a blue card or draw 5 green cards and keep 1. This one is pay 3 coins, lose a valor to get what's here. Those are the different actions on the board. It's really fairly simple, actually. It's not the most complicated thing in the world. One of the things, you can pay 6 coins to flip your debt from minus 2 victory points to a virtue there. It's just one of the things you can do. That's how you play the game. Let's take a look now what we think about this one and if it's as good, better, or how it compares to Raiders of the North Sea, even though not a sequel, same universe, same art type stuff. Let's look right now. So that's Architects. What's the major difference to me between this and Raiders of the North Sea? Again, it's probably not the fairest thing to compare the 2, but you just saw how to play it. So you know it doesn't completely play the same. Obviously, the cards look a lot like the same thing, right? They have certain benefits at the bottom. You do some different things though. For instance, instead of the put down pickup mechanic of Raiders of the North Sea, this is a put down mechanic from Architects of the West Kingdom, in which the more you put a worker in a space, the better that action gets. Now that is a really cool concept to me. Let's talk about stuff we like, stuff we don't like about this experience. First of all, things that I really like is the fact that that gets better and better the more times you go there. So in your mind you think, man, I really need to take this other action, but it's really great if I get a 6th worker out on that space, right? Or, wow, I can round up everybody and take all of their workers hostage and sell them for coins because, you know, it's a really great option as well. So I love the fact that you're able to manipulate kind of where you're going to go based on how many workers you have on that space. I don't know a lot of games that do that, that make an action better and better and better the more people you have there, and continually gets better as well. Things that I don't like about it though, so strangely, the mechanic that was kind of touted by a lot of our friends and started talking about, so it's not really a thing on Renegade, but this whole rounding up other people's workers, it didn't feel like we used it very often. In fact, it felt like we needed to use it on ourselves to trade in to get money as well to get workers back, because if no one was going to take your workers and you would have to spend your entire turn on just getting one of your workers out of somewhere else, it just really slowed everything down. So the most we used it was for either making a deal with somebody, be like, I'll take yours, you take mine, or taking your own workers out of there. And that to me was strange. It was kind of one of the big things. It's such a big space on the board, a lot of mechanics tied to it. We just didn't really use it or appreciate it that much, I guess. So that was one of my main knocks against it, which means that I actually like Raiders of the North Sea better as a worker placement game. I like how it plays better. This one's good. You can own both. They're not two of the games where you either own one or the other because they're not that similar. But if we're comparing two games that are clearly meant to be shared universe and shared kind of ideas, I like Raiders better because I like what it does with the put down, pick up sort of mechanic, as well as the way the cards play in it better. These cards are nice, and I like the fact that you're building it, you're constructing stuff, you're making stuff better for your kingdom, right? I like the idea that you're putting building cards out there, and the more buildings you put out there, the better you have a chance of winning the game based on your in-game points that those buildings give you, based on the points they give you immediately. So just getting those cards in your hand and then trying to get the worker you need, it's a nice thing. So I really like that. Now, it is very, very, very quarrelsome and troublesome when someone constantly takes the worker with the symbol that you need, and there's none of that worker out there, none of that symbol out there, so that is frustrating. But overall, it's a fun experience. It's not my favorite worker placement game. I don't like it as much as Raiders of the North Sea, but I do like Architects of the West Kingdom as a game in the whole, and I can see it's going to stay with us. We're not getting rid of it or anything like that. And I feel like it's one of those games that the strategy will get a little deeper and deeper and deeper the more you play, as well as maybe the mechanics will even kind of sort themselves out in my own brain the more and more I play this game. But that is Architects of the West Kingdom. I'm Brian Drake here on the Dice Tower. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @TheLettuceRetro. And until next time, we'll see you. Oh, I should mention. Somebody mentioned on Board Game Breakfast, why are there so many reviews after Tom's reviewed a game on the Dice Tower? Well, the main thing is perspective, right? Perspective. You don't want to just hear one opinion. What if you don't like certain games that Tom likes? What if you don't like certain games that I like? So having other people on the channel was kind of the vision behind that, to give different people perspectives based on types of games that those types of people like is kind of the whole point. So that's why you're seeing me review a game, even if Tom, Sam, or Z or someone has already reviewed it, is because I want to give you a different perspective, a different look at it than necessarily those guys, and they would feel the same way about that. So again, I'm Brian Drake here on the Dice Tower. Until next time, we'll see you.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching the Dice Tower. The Dice Tower